Hi, and welcome to the Dish on Divorce. I'm Jennifer Barkin. And today in studio, I have with me Bonnie Duarte. Did I pronounce your name right?
You did.
I did. I win a prize.
Absolutely do.
And Bonnie is a divorce recovery coach.
I am.
But the way you do things is different. And one of the ways in which you're different, which really intrigues me, is a lot of coaches these days are telling people, be grateful for this, be grateful for that. Wake up each day feeling grateful, keep a journal, write down the things that you're so thankful. Bingo.
Yeah.
That's not your jam.
That's not my jam. No, not at all. That actually pisses me off, to be really frank with you. When you're going through a divorce, this is the hardest time of your friggin' life.
Or right up there.
Right?
Yes.
It absolutely is. And or right up there. For some people, it will absolutely be the hardest. For others, it'll be one of the most difficult things. When somebody tells you, be grateful, be positive, be thankful, just look on the bright side, that is so dismissive to what you're going through. So I like to consider myself like the anti-gratitude coach. I love anger. I love all those raw, deep emotions that we're not allowed to express typically. The things that make people uncomfortable. Like they don't want, and I mean, hey, I'm included. I hate crying and I don't want to be angry and I don't want to be Debbie Downer or negative. But my goodness, sometimes life is just such a hot mess in that moment. To pretend it's not is way more detrimental than acknowledging what it is.
I agree with you. I find it very dismissive. Some situations that I see in my practice are quite horrific.
Yeah.
They really are horrific. Examples, it's not a regular parenting plan that we're dealing with. Child has significant special needs. Right? And one parent isn't acknowledging the child's special needs. And there's arguing over everything, even if this child can see a psychiatrist, a social worker, whatever. And there's so much stress. And to say, oh, but the sun is shining today. Let's be grateful for that.
Yeah.
Like you're ignoring. Or my worst one, other people went through it. You'll survive.
Yeah.
Or stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
At least you're going to have a little bit of money at the end of this.
Yeah. Stop the pity party.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's, just recently I was with a client who she was having a really difficult time knowing, like when I say be with your emotions, express your emotions, be raw, be vulnerable, like be what's really going on. And then what I love being able to do, which I think is unique, is teaching people how to do that. Because there's one thing to say, oh, you're going through a really tough time. You need to go deep. You need to go into your emotions. But how? And especially when you've been practicing for decades not to do that. You've been practicing to be mindful, positive, and you don't want to be that person to suck the energy out of the room. But now the most horrific and difficult things are happening, and you're in essence I'm saying with my clients, hey, now's the time. You've got to go deep. You've got to go into it. And so this one client in particular, she couldn't understand that. She was so frustrated because we kept going back there. And then finally she called me saying, I'm spiraling. Like I'm not in a good place right now. And in that conversation, because she was really in the depth of it, she was able to finally release and cry, but cried differently than she ever had before. In the past, she cried because she couldn't understand why this happened to her. She couldn't understand how her life turned out this way. She couldn't understand why she made the choices she did that got her where she was today. Or she cried terrified for the future, terrified for her little daughter, her 2-year-old daughter, terrified for what is her life going to look like now that she's got this narcissistic husband or ex-husband that is going to be in her life forever. And for the first time, she was able to go into her grief, her pain in the present. And she went deep, she went hard, and as she was going there and just really being with her pain in that moment, she was really, really scared that if she went there, she might not be able to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you think if you go that much pain, what if all of a sudden I'm in a padded room?
Like drowning.
Right, like drowning, or you'll never find your way to feel joy again. And so the amount of control we have to make sure we don't go that deep that's actually the detrimental thing. But as we went into it, and we kept having her go more and more and giving her the space to be where she was, at the end of it, it was this huge sigh of relief. Mm-hmm. She could breathe because she was allowed to go into that dark, yucky place. And what we don't often realize is that dark place, which is then where then the light's on the other side, if you will. But trying to pretend that you're okay when you're not okay, or having our friends and family members tell us, don't worry about it, you're fine, you're so strong, you're great, you're doing such an awesome job, you're going to get through this. It's just
diminishing.
It's diminishing.
It's diminishing.
Yeah.
And the other problem, when you're not allowed to feel your emotions and you suppress your emotions, what we do know from research is it's unhealthy.
It's so unhealthy.
What happens is you get illnesses, anxiety, and things that you're just sort of hiding. These emotions you're suppressing that you're hiding, you're slapping a Band-Aid on them rather than dealing with the actual wound.
Yeah.
They come out and they affect you in other areas and in future relationships with other people, even though you're not realizing it, because they can't stay buried. They cannot stay buried, and they're going to come out whether they're lashing at somebody, blaming a new partner because there's a trigger of, well, he did this to me, 15 years ago, and now you looked at me the wrong way, or you did this. So it's about that healing of that anger or hurt or it's so unfair, whatever that stuff is, before you can really live well.
Yeah. I mean, got this glass here. Thanks for the prop. But like, we look at a glass like this and you imagine that this is life and the stresses we have in life. And, on a regular day, maybe our stress is here. Life is stressful, normally speaking. Mm-hmm. And then we add COVID, we add divorce, we add...
Give more to COVID.
Right? More to COVID up here.
COVID's going to be overflowing.
Right? And that might be all it means. That for some people, it is just life called COVID, and now we overflow. Or it might be for some people, stress is already here, and then we add divorce, and now it's too much. So the idea is we want to find ways to reduce our stress, reduce that, but it's not through positive thinking or not acknowledging the crap that we're in. It's actually those moments that you can, just dump it out and let people know, I'm not happy right now. Life isn't good right now. And I think the key word I just used is right now. Right now, right? When we start talking about it's not fair what happened to me back then, we're in a rut. We're in the rabbit hole. We're spiraling. It's actually not effective at all. Or if we speak about how worried we are about our future, that's not actually effective. But if we begin acknowledging our pain right now, what we're going through right now, our worries right now about our future, our sadness right now about our past. But when the more we can acknowledge how we're feeling in the moment, that's where all healing becomes accessible. And when you say how terrible you're feeling now, but then somebody else tells you, don't worry about it, you just stay busy, distract yourself, all this,
that's actually an anxiety response. Sometimes people that have very bad anxiety, high functioning anxiety, they're busy and they accomplish everything. But what is it? You're parking the pain here.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with it. So you're busy. You're doing all of these things and doing most of them quite well.
Yes. And typically speaking through your life, these strategies or coping strategies, they will get you through. And then until it overflows, and those coping strategies that were just short-term fixes, I consider them. Short-term fixes, they get you through in the moment, but they don't produce that long-lasting effect. And so then, now all of a sudden, they're not working when it's most stressful. And you're, just as you say, anxiety reaction, your anxiety goes through the roof because all the things you've done your whole entire life are now failing you.
So we had a conversation, I think it was about a week ago, a phone conversation. We were just chatting. And you said something really, really interesting to me. And you said that you make your clients a promise. Do you remember?
When I set goals with them, when they work with me,
that they're going to feel better, that they're going to come out ahead, that you're going to be able to move them, your success rate with the people that you work with.
Oh, yeah. So I'll clarify that.
Okay.
So this is a call out to all of any practitioner, any counselor, any therapist, any coach. I believe it's time for us to really step up. I'm saying this a little hesitant because I know now this is going to be out in the world.
Do you want to whisper to me?
Right.
Tell you whether she'll whisper to me, and then we'll see if she should tell you guys.
We're good. I'm being brave here. So we so much put the healing and the recovery onto our client, and we become the space for them, but we say it's really up to them. And that's not completely wrong. But I actually say that it's up to me. It's up to us. If we can't put our money where our mouth is, if we can't make specific promises to our client, then we need to go find a job where we can make promises. Because it's not fair to have somebody come into our office and us to promise working with them, and they have the belief that they're going to get better if we don't know that they can get better with us. So with all of my clients that work with me, we go through a very deep strategy session where we highlight exactly what the goals are that they're going to achieve. And from all those goals, we go deep. And I say, okay, let's choose the word, I'm trying to think of a common one, shame. So my clients might say, I feel shame at a 10 out of 10. I'm mortified. I can't tell anybody. I'm like, okay, awesome. Your shame's at a 10. Not awesome, but I get it.
I totally
Yeah. Your shame's at a 10.
Awesome.
Awesome. Your shame's at a 10.
Glad you're suffering.
Right?
Great.
Yeah. What would it be like if together, us working together, I could get your shame down to a 3? Would that be worth it for you?
So it's hope.
Well, it's more than hope. I work with them until they get it to a 3. Or it might say, every day I'm crying 3 times a day, or I'm having anxiety attacks 3 times a day. I'm like, awesome. What if right now your anxiety attacks 3 times a day. What if I say that when we finish working together, you are maybe having an anxiety attack once a month instead of 3 times a day? What would that be like for you? So we get very, very measurable measurable goals. And then I don't work with my clients one-on-one because I can't promise goals, achieving these goals one-on-one, but rather we work together for a set period of time. And then I was like, this is what we are going to accomplish because this is what I promised you we would accomplish. Now, every client's entirely different. So it's not I promise everybody's going to get over X because everybody's in such a different place.
Right. It would be like a doctor saying, okay, you have this disease and 100% I can cure you, which is impossible because everybody has, let's say, if it's cancer, there's different types, there's different tumor markers. Your individual body chemistry, how you react to certain things, you can't guarantee. You can only, but it looks good that we could probably get there.
Yeah. And it's and doing these assessments, it's so individual to each person. Where are they at with their own self-development? Are they already experiencing anxiety from the past and or depression? Are they is there a willingness for them to go deep and do the work that needs to be done? So that's my job to say, hey, based on what I've discovered with you and based on what I know I can do, these are the markers that I can put in place. Which that's bold. It's bold. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I've had to, I'm like, crap, that was a little ambitious.
Well,
that was a little ambitious. And then I'm like,
do you ever say like, because I would think that pretty early on you'd recognize if it's going to take both of you to work together and you can do everything in your power, but your client has to do some work too.
Yeah.
And some people just aren't ready. Do you ever say, you know what? Come back.
So rarely. Yeah. So rarely. I find that most people that come to me, one, there's an investment. You're paying to get this work, to do this work. So there's a commitment there. But it's a rare case. Like I'm really at I'd say like a 95% success rate. And that is, it's huge.
That's huge.
It's huge. And that is
like an A+.
That's an A+. I know, A++. I'm at a 95% success rate for multiple reasons. I'm realistic to the goals we set. I don't give up. So I'm stubborn. So if I projected a little too high, that's on me. It's not on you. That's on me. So I'm not going to punish you because I projected too high. So I stay working with you until we get that done.
Cool.
And then there is the odd case, and it is the odd case where somebody isn't ready to do the work. They want you to do it for them. There's the odd case where they disclose that their depression or anxiety is in one place, but I find out it's at a very, very different place. And of course, in those cases, I can't promise that, but that's why I'm at 95, right? I would say there's 5% of my clients are there. So it's a very low percentage. I think most people, and certainly the people watching the YouTube video or the podcast or whatever you call it, the movie, the show, the TV show, right?
YouTube.
Yeah. What people that are here, they're proactive. They're taking actions already to get better and to move on. So if you're that type of person that's watching this, you already know what your mindset's like, which is awesome. Yeah.
So if people want to find you, people want to learn more about what you can offer and about your coaching, where do they reach you, Bonnie?
They can come to my website. It's duartecoaching.com. I'm sure
Spell
we'll put a link there somewhere.
Spell it.
So www.duarte, DUARTE, coaching.com.
Well, thank you for joining me today and taking time away from this beautiful sunny day. And if you need help recovering from your divorce, give Bonnie a shout.
Thanks, Jennifer.
I'm Jennifer Barkin, and thank you for joining me on The Dish on Divorce.